Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rodirick, as you have said. I'm a gemologist working in the Department of Mines. It's a small presentation on the value addition, especially to the gemstones of Malawi. The outline is we'll have the introduction, we'll have the current gemstone trading, what gemstone value addition entails, efforts by government in introducing value addition, and then we'll talk about the certification, which is an issue, and also then finally the conclusion. Malawi, just like any other countries surrounding it, has got various types of gemstones, which include rubies, sapphires, aquamarines, tourmalines, quartz, etc., etc. But these gemstones have been exploited from as back as the early 1950s. Among those that were being worked on were rubies and sapphires. Everybody is aware, especially those that know the background of mining in Malawi, is aware that ruby and sapphire mine. Okay.
No. It's just, you're speaking well, low.
Oh, low. Okay. All right. Okay.
So, okay.
All right. Okay.
Yes, I can give you one.
That's all right. Ruby and sapphire mines dates back to the early 50s, and till then there have been other minerals coming up, such that now we have a variety of minerals being mined throughout the country. The gemstone mining primarily has been exploited by ASM operations. Sorry, I cannot see. With the use of rudiment equipment, methods such as picks and shovels. These gemstones, these rudimental methods and tools have resulted into slowed production in terms of the general output of the product, and also it has caused the whole ASM operation to be non-reliant, because it tends to be like a seasonal activity. However, many countries have enjoyed significant contribution to their GDP from ASM. This is not the case here in Malawi. The reason being the subsector is still in its infancy, and it does not enjoy adequate support from both public and private sector. Some countries have stepped up initiative, more especially in the value addition, turning the raw material into the finished product, so that they fetch higher prices on the international market, realizing that why they do that is because they realize these are non-renewable resources. Once you extract, it's gone forever. So that being the case, they want to maximize the benefit from this non-renewable resource to the benefit of the country and the people at large. So that is just an example. To your left is a rough aquamarine. To your right is some pieces of rhodolite that are found in Malawi. Current trading trend in Malawi of gemstones statistics that we have show that there are about 240 active artisanal and small-scale miners, of which more than 50% are in gemstone products. You have some previous presenters have mentioned that these ASM are involved in various types of minerals like rock aggregate, clay, gypsum, so on and so forth. So 50% of those are in gemstone mining. There are also about 1,000, according to the database that we have, 1,000 dealers who buy from these miners. These statistics translate into approximately 14,000 people who benefit from this subsector directly or indirectly using the multiplying factor. But we are not including those that are having, we call, non-exclusive prospecting license, because we don't expect them to go into formal commercial trading of gemstones. It is estimated that Malawi produces approximately 1,000 tons of various gemstones that include, this 1,000 is dominated by rose quartz, agates, clear quartz, and low-grade aquamarines, blue corundums, garnets, of course, to some extent, rubies and sapphires. Over 90% of these are exported to overseas markets in raw form, thereby attracting low market prices. So what gemstone value addition entails, as we may know, value addition to gemstone simply means cutting and polishing of the gemstone. Cutting and polishing adds value and make the gemstone look real. Those that are familiar, that are in the trade, they say when the stone is well cut and polished, they say there is life in the stone. A finally finished piece of a gemstone can increase a gemstone's price 100 times. Yeah, 100 times more on the price as compared to the rough one and cut and polished stone. So you can see that if you are exporting 90% of our gemstones in raw form, you can see how much the country is losing. If we were to say the opposite, if we were to export 90% cut and polished, then I think the benefit could be so significant to the nation. So there are different players in the gemstone industry. These are miners, dealers, middlemen, cutters, jewelers, and of course the end user who end up using whatever is made out of the gemstones. It is very rare, maybe not particularly to Malawi, but I think in all other countries, it is very rare that a miner can get direct link to the final market, direct link to the cutter. There are always these people who go out to the miners buying the gemstones. These are the people, the middlemen, the dealers, these are the people who know where to take the gemstone to the next step, either to the cutter or direct to outside market. So most of the miners, they will just get the product, they will extract the product and immediately sell to the next person who in most cases is a middleman or a dealer. So as I've already said, in most cases miners will not even know who the cutter is, as this is mostly the part of dealers or middlemen. The same applies to pricing. The miners will sell to dealers their material in rough form, who will take them to the cutters and then to the jeweler. But as one moves on the ladder of this value chain, in the market chain, so does the price. So maybe the miner will get $10 The middleman may get, sometimes if he's reasonable enough, may get $13, $15, but some will even double the price. And when it comes out from the cutter, it's another price. When it goes to the jeweler, it's another price. When I go to buy my necklace, you can imagine the price has multiplied so many times. In a perfect scenario, a country would be able to add value to gemstones before exporting so that it increases income to the country and its citizens. This setup would necessitate miners, dealers, cutters, and jewelers to be located in one area. Suppose Malawi has intensified its value addition strategy. It means we will have the miners in Malawi, we will have the cutters in Malawi, we will have the jewelers in Malawi. This will also contribute to significant number of jobs that would be created as a result of this setup. So that's one of the benefits of maybe involving value addition in the export of our minerals. Efforts of government in introducing value addition. Malawi, though having abundant gemstone resource, does not have many cutters plying the trade. If you go around our cities, you find very, very few cutters, very, very few jewelers. So because we have already said we are, this subsector is still at its infancy. So as for jewelers, the situation is even worse because maybe 1 or 2 jewelers you find in Blantyre and Lilongwe. However, some strides are being made to improve the situation. For example, government has been conducting some training of trainers in gemstone cutting and polishing with an aim of promoting value addition. It is pleasing to note that some of these trainers that were provided with this special training are also in attendance today. We hope with some extra support, because I think so far we trained about 12, but we hope if we get some more support, we can increase the number. And those people that get this training, because they are trainers, they will end up training other people. So the multiplying factor will, I think, do us a better job. Recently, a total of 12, as I've already said, a total of 12 people have received basic training in cutting and polishing of gemstones. This was made possible because of the support that we got from geological mapping and the mineral resource assessment project, commonly known as GEMAP. Government has also procured some sets of cutting and polishing equipment that will be placed in all our 3 regions, because the Department of Mines is the setup is in such a way that we have the headquarters in the central region, and there's another office in the southern region and another one in the northern region. So the plan is the equipment that has been procured will be located in these regions so that our miners can access. The arrangements will be made how they access. Maybe they pay a little fee, I don't know, but they will have access to those machines so that they can add value to their material before they finally sell it. Government is also in the process of formalizing. This has been an issue. I think most presenters have been saying ASM is not formalized, but it's also worthy to note that government is in the process of formalizing all ASM groups into cooperatives, since this makes it easier for government to disseminate technical and service and extension services to all those that need it, unlike the way people operate individually. If they are in groups, we hope and we think we can easily reach out to them and provide the assistance that they may need. Just to mention that so far we have trained 14 groups, 7 in the northern region, 3 in the central region, and 4 in the southern region. And each group was having a membership of more than 20, so you can see how many people have been trained. And we hope very shortly all these people will receive their certificates for their respective cooperatives. Furthermore, by forming cooperatives, ASM operators achieve strong pricing bargaining capability. You agree with me that these middlemen that come to buy gemstones to our miners are experienced people. They have traveled far and wide. They have gained many bargaining skills when it comes to buying gemstones. So they will come to our miners who do not have, maybe I should say, who don't have adequate skills in how to bargain when it comes to pricing their gemstones. So because they are feeling this, they are having this inferiority, these experienced buyers will just cheat them by maybe taking their commodities at a very low price. And it is our hope that once people work in groups, they have a commanding voice, and they will have better bargaining skills, so that they will end up selling their commodity at fairly reasonable prices, unlike what is happening now. So I talked about the training that we had on cutting and polishing. The picture to the right, to the left, if you look carefully amongst ourselves, you may identify this person is within this building, within this room. To the right is the consultant that was hired to administer the training, Zo Harimara from Madagascar. And that is a cross-section of some of the participants that were privileged to receive that training. All that was done with the help of our big man, John Tyson. Thank you so much for that effort. It's not, I was just giving a credit to you. Oh, let's talk about the issue of certification. It's a strange issue because in Malawi we don't have this kind of issue. Of course, there is, when one wants to export whatever mineral, it goes through the geological survey and gets what we call certificate of inspection. But this certification is a different thing altogether. You may know that in most countries where there have been some civil wars and things like that, their products are not welcome on the market. So when it comes to high value gemstones, some markets would want to understand where these products are coming from. If they are coming from areas where they suspect there is civil war, they wouldn't want to consume or to take up that product into their market, because it is like they will be fueling or propelling such bad activities that are happening in those originating countries. So we are saying further proliferation of sale of, we are saying another important aspect related to value addition of gemstones is the ability of the country to provide authentication of its gemstones. As the history tells us, in some countries, money that is realized from the sale of these gemstones is often used to propel civil or ethnic wars. This fact has necessitated the requirement to declare a country of origin of almost all high-value precious and semi-precious stones. Furthermore, proliferation of sale of synthetic stones without disclaimer. You understand me very correctly here. Some people will think it's a crime to sell synthetic stones. It's not. There are big labs that have been set up to manufacture those synthetic stones because they feel that natural stones are very expensive, but one would want to wear a ruby ring, but he cannot afford. So you better go for the natural, the synthetic stone. But what is important is the disclaimer. You let your customer know this is not natural, this is synthetic. It's entirely upon the buyer to say, okay, I'll proceed buying this synthetic stone. So at present, Malawi does not issue those certifications I've already said, but it's pleasing to note that one of our geologists is undergoing training in Madagascar, and we hope that once he comes back after successful completion of his studies, I think Malawi will, at that time, start issuance of certification so that even the international market will not have doubts when they want to buy product from Malawi. In conclusion, we say adding value to gemstone is a key to attaining an improved gemstone subsector within ASM. Considering the efforts taken by government of Malawi to date, one is hopeful that the future of value addition in the country, we are hopeful of the good future of value addition in the country. However, government should not act alone. The private sector should also be encouraged to participate in this process. Thank you very much for your attention.